Hey guys, Bart from TST Industries here. In this video we're going to show you how to install this basic TST Industries fender eliminator on a Honda Grom. Alright, so in the first step we'll have to remove the seat. Put it to the side. Now we need to find this set of wires here in the black protective sheath. This contains all the wires leading to the rear signals and the license plate light on the fender assembly. We will need to loosen it from all its guiding clips. There's one back here too by the tail light. And there is another one right beneath this screw. You just need to unbend it. And now the set of wires with its plug protector are free. We need to push this to the side and push the plug protecting sleeve back onto the wire. And this is the plug we need to remove now. We'll press the lock and withdraw the plug. And now all the wiring to the fender assembly is free. We'll proceed to the fender removal now. We will need a 12mm wrench, and we will crack these 4 fasteners free now. And now they can be taken out without the use of a tool. When I get to the last one, I support the fender assembly by hand so that it doesn't just drop. And now it's free to come out. I pull it towards the rear and then pull it down while routing the cable from the top. And now it's off the bike. It's ready to be put to the side. In the following step, we will begin the installation of the bracket onto the undertail. We will be installing this bracket into the 2 rear holes where the OEM fender used to mount. To do that, we will start by taking a screw and a washer from the hardware kit that came with the fender eliminator, arranging it like so. Put it through the bracket. Going to use a tool, fit it through the undertail, and then take another washer, insert it over the screw, and then we'll take a nut and arrange the star locking element like this towards the subframe. Thread it in partially, leaving the bracket free to move. I will do the same thing on the other side. Once again, a washer and a nut with the locking element towards the subframe. And now just make sure that it's centered. And I'm going to tighten the assembly with tools. All right, one important thing to note here in this part of the installation is on the top side here, the subframe has open tubes, and if you let go of any of these components that you're putting in here, they will eventually end up going through this tube and out of the bottom. To prevent that, you could block it off with tape or stuff a napkin in there or something that you could take out afterwards. This will prevent you from having to look for these elements should you lose them. All right, so from this point forward, we'll be doing the reassembly in the reverse order of this assembly, and the bike will be ready to go. One thing worth noting is that now we've replaced the fender that was closing out the entire area with this simple bracket. So now you'll have some holes going from the outside to the inside of your sub tray. You will need to block those off somehow if you don't want water getting in there. Another point worth noting is you might want to put a license plate light on this fender eliminator. Most jurisdictions require you to have a license plate light on your license plate We do sell a kit, and we also have a video explaining how to put that kit on. You can check on our YouTube channel, and that'll help you out. So this is pretty much done. We will reassemble the components and show you the bike assembled. All right, so the first step in installing the optional signal kit will be to mount these signal brackets onto the back of the Fender Eliminator bracket, the license plate in front. To do that, we will use one of these screws from the hardware kit, the washer, put it through the license plate, hold the signal bracket onto the back of the license plate bracket, mount this assembly in there, and use another one of the washers from the hardware kit behind, and one of these locking nuts with the locking element towards the back of the assembly. This way, when this is all screwed together, the nut will engage and it will lock in place. It won't have a chance to vibrate off. So what we want to do is just get it finger tight, giving us the ability to maneuver this around a little bit still. And we'll move on to the next side. And the same exact thing on this left side here. All right. Still have some maneuverability. We'll be able to adjust it once the signals are in. Now we can take the signals out of the packaging. These are available with clear or smoked lens. We'll take the nuts that came with them, using one side at a time. We'll feed the wire through the bracket and arrange the signal on the signal bracket like so. Feed the nut over the wires and begin to thread on the nut. What you want to do here is get it bottomed out but not tighten it just yet. We will do that for both sides. Okay, now I will just snug up these bolted connections here just a little bit more. We still want to allow for a little bit of adjustability, but we want to make it so that you can adjust them to their final place and then lock everything down with tools. So now I'm just going to make sure all these components are arranged to my liking, nice and level in center. I think I've done that here. I'm just going to use tools to tighten everything down. When tightening these nuts on the back of the signals, you want to exercise care. Make sure not to over tighten them because you will snap the threaded boss behind the signal. You do, however, want to get them tight enough so that they're locked in place. And we'll do that to both sides. Now that everything's tight, I will feed the wires from the signals into the trunk compartment. All right. Now we can proceed to removal of the harness from the OEM fender assembly and attachment of the connectors. So for the next step of the installation of the signal kit, we will need to remove the harness from the fender portion that we took off in the previous steps. To do that, we'll need to remove these 4 screws. In addition, there's 1 rivet type fastener here. To remove it, we need to press in the center and then pull it out. And now this back cover should come off freely. Okay, so we are interested in this part of the wire with the plug. Feed it through this frame component here. Slip off the boot. We will unplug all these. All right, so you have your signal leads here and the ground for the signals. And this remaining set of wires here, we will cut it back to all the way here. There is a set of wires in there. One is green, which is ground, and one is yellow. Those are the wires for your license plate light. For the purpose of this video, we will not be installing license plate light, so I will just tape these off. And the reason why I'm taping them off for now is I don't want them to ground to something and cause a short circuit. When you're ready to install a license plate light, you will just remove this tape and wire your license plate light right into these. All right, now that we have this harness ready, we can transfer it to the bike. Now we will need to route this wire underneath the bodywork here. I will slip off the plug cover, route it in through here, find the plug that it plugs into, plug it in, and then slip the plug sheath over. And now I'll just need to route this wire properly back here, get it in the guide clips. There's one more guide clip up front here. It just bends and holds the wire. There it is. All right, now back here, we have these ready to be plugged in. All right, so if you notice, the bullet connectors on the signal side are slightly smaller than on the harness side, and they don't lock in place. So what we're gonna do now is press them and ovalize them just a little bit so that they will accept these bullet connectors and lock them in place. That seems to be right. We'll do that to the rest of them. All right, now we will begin the wiring. So on the left side, take the wire from the left signal. The yellow is your positive lead. That will go into the orange on the harness. And to press it together, make sure it stays. That's nice and tight in there. And then the black will go into the green lead, which is the ground. Just help myself with a needle nose plier here. All right, move on to the right side. Once again, on the signals, the positive lead is the yellow. On the bike, positive right signal is blue. We will plug those together and plug in the black into the green. Anytime you replace your OEM signals with any kind of LED aftermarket signals, your OEM relay will not flash. It just gets stuck on, or sometimes it'll flash very, very fast. So To get rid of this problem, we'll install this relay. All right, so that seems to be working right. What I'll do now is zip tie the wires and route them properly so they don't get knocked out of place. Also cover this whole assembly with the sheath. All right, everything seems to be ready to go to the next step. We will install the seat. Now the installation is complete, the bike is ready, and you're ready to ride.